Everything is great. Welcome to Bengals Kumbaya land. We're all in this together. There's nothing to worry about. Zach has everybody on the same page. The culture is great. Peace. Namaste. The worst defeat in Bengals history? No, don't worry about it. That's not true. Coming next. What's up, Stevie Boy? The Kumbaya edition of Bang the Drum following the worst defeat in Bengals history.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Little
Kumbaya.
flat. Little flat. What's happening, brother?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I don't think I do either.
I don't think I know what's going on. It's a little bit of a 1990-ish flashback from the other day.
Shit.
And I've just been trying to just get away from it. Start new on Wednesday night, Bang the Drum podcast, and let's move on to week 4.
Move on to week 4, but we're not going to do it. You want to do it. I've got some rants. I got a macro rant.
Imagine that.
I know you didn't pay attention in economics. I know you don't know what macro. You don't know. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But that's okay. Most of the people will.
I just fell asleep during the intro.
That's right. That was good. That was a good peaceful intro. Kumbaya. All's well. My micro rant. We signed 2 wide receivers, big time, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, to large contracts, you agree? Let's go in there. Let's bang it down their throat. Let's put Drew Sample in. Again, it's nothing against Drew Sample. I think he's a good guy. I really do. I think he plays if he was with Baltimore, Philly, someone like that, or Seattle that can actually run the ball, maybe he looks different. He makes a play. He plays hard. It's nothing against him. But what the hell? That's just banging in there. It's Chip Kelly, like I said before, played against Michigan last year. You hate using that word. For Ohio State, they got Jeremiah Smith. They got everybody. Let's run against their 2 big tackles. It's idiotic. Your team is 11 personnel. We talked about it before. We looked it up last year. A lot of their big games. Gesicki was truly the tight end, even though he played in the slot. You had Yoshi, T, and Chase. You can get rid of the ball quick. You can do it quick. Look at Mac Jones this week. The ball's out, right? Instead, we're running. We're not even doing it. We're holding people in. Ugly. And I sat right here, and I said, here's what Zach's press conference is going to be. Well, when you turn the ball over however many times, you don't have a chance. You played like shit, Zach. That's why you didn't have a chance. If you didn't turn the ball over, you're going to lose again. Quite frankly, Stevie Boy, I hate to say it, you probably should be 0-3. You really probably should be. You got a missed extra point, a missed kick, easy chip shot. They look just like they do every other year coming out. And, the old saying used to be you take on the persona of your head coach. Remember that? They play like their head coach. They do. Soft, candy ass. Oh, we'll be okay. Let's just all go hug. Kumbaya. This is football. This is not you and I working in an office. This is football. People's like, well, his culture is good. Really? This is a macro take. Culture's good? What is a good culture? The culture in the local office building you're looking at, pick one in Cincinnati, is different than a football field. The NFL puts love in the end zone and all that bullshit. Like, the culture in a football team is, I hated this guy. Still do. I said that past tense. I hate this guy.
So is this the micro or the
This
macro?
is micro about that game, about the early season. Ray Lewis. I can't stand that guy. Do you think they'd cream puff around and play like shit with him around in the locker room? Do you think they would?
No.
Without a punch thrown? Is there anybody on the Bengals team going to do that?
No.
Is that going to do it? No. Parcells would be all over their ass. You can name a Bill Walsh if they threw behind a receiver. If Montana, maybe the greatest ever, one of them, threw a pass on Rice's hip instead of in front of him, he'd chew his ass. Do you think Zach's doing that?
No.
Hell no. That's your culture. The culture is they get by with anything. They play sloppy. They play loose every single year. The talent has prevailed and carried his non-coaching ass. That's my micro take. Do you have any comments on that? It's hard.
Very hard. So
That's what she said.
family show. So as far as, I mean, I'm going to put my own 2 cents out here. I'm going to do it in a little different way. I have fought again this week, like I'm fighting the smoke right now.
It's great that it's blowing that way. I'm even trying for it not to happen.
I love it.
It's perfect. It happens everywhere we go.
I fought last week with how the game was going to go. And I've been fighting so far this week on how I was going to come through on this podcast. Like, how do I actually really feel from all my years of watching football about this loss and what happened? So, one game is one game. But, like Scott said, it's not that they shouldn't be 0-3. They should be 0-3. It's like they have not moved the ball great. Their running attack, it's not even an attack. Like all they're wanting to do is ram it up their offensive line's butts. That's all they're wanting to do, because that's what ends up happening. Chase is just running directly into their asses, and that's just, there's no movement. He's getting the ball a yard, and it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. So how you think you can come into a game like that after Minnesota had put up the egg that they put up, and thinking they're not going to come in at home and not want to just stop the run, but you think because you put Cam Grandy on the active roster that you're going to come in and you're going to run it down their throat, and which again, you basically just run it up your own guys' backs. And it doesn't make any sense at all. I'm a Zach guy to a point. I said this last week, but I'm starting to lean the other way. Like, I like the locker room. I like how they usually play for him. They love the guy, but that's probably because it's soft. He doesn't make them accountable for the things they do. So therefore, they love the guy that says, "Oh, it's okay. We got this." Instead of making them accountable in multiple ways, and that's just not happening. The whole going big and the 2 tight ends, spreading them out. You got all these weapons. You paid them all this money. I mean, so it kind of goes back to the defensive perspective that me and you have talked about. Like, if I'm going to get beat being soft, I'm going to go ahead and just bring pressure, hoping something crazy can happen, or we can do whatever. We can cause some turnovers and do some things, cause some havoc, make them think on the offensive line, like pretty much like Minnesota done, right? Make them think. It's kind of the same thing. It's almost like, okay, let's get the ball out 2-3 seconds, and let's just throw it to our stars, our game breakers, our guys that we paid all these. I don't care who's quarterback. And then if he throws picks, then if he fumbles the ball, then if these guys are doing the things they shouldn't do, then that's on them. I'm not blaming Zach necessarily for that loss. I mean, they fumbled 5 times. He didn't fumble the balls. You know what I mean? That is a little bit out of his control. Now, throwing the 3-yard pass that led to the strip that the Minnesota picked up and ran back for a touchdown, a little different story. You're still not throwing the ball down the field. You're not pressing the defense. You're not making them earn anything. Basically what you're telling them to do is, we're going to throw it, and then you got to tackle us. And guess what? They're tackling them. And then when they're not, last week they put the damn ball on the ground. Yep. So I don't blame that on Zach. I don't necessarily think that this 2-1 football team is a 2-1 football team. I think they're an 0-3 football team that just happens to be 2-1.
Yeah, don't disagree. I think, I've always disagreed with the take that, you can't put it on the coach. I mean, there's fluke things that happen, but I think, that's the culture, is that, highly disciplined teams are usually well-coached teams, right? And those well-coached teams, they're just drilled on that shit so much that they don't make mistakes like that. You know what I'm saying? Generally speaking, they are finely tuned machines. They don't have pre-snap penalties. All of that, I think, goes on the coaching. Some of it, obviously is talent level, but I think this team is talented. something, reasonable minds can disagree on this, but to me, and I don't think this is the case, but what they look like was a 2-13 team playing out the season with a lame duck coach that's going to get his ass fired. That's what it looked like. So that is on the coach, right? And they're not we're not that far along. Chances of him getting fired are pretty slim, unfortunately. And this is not hindsight for me. Again, I've said this all along, right? I haven't liked him from day one. I didn't think he had the resume. Here's my macro. I'll get started. I didn't think he had a resume to even get an interview, let alone to get the damn job, right? And that's how I felt all the way through. I've said it many times. I think when they do win, it's in spite of him, not because of him, right? Is he passionate? Does he keep the team together? I think he does. But I think there's a lot of coaches that do that. X and O's and decisions and, discipline, most importantly, I don't think he's very good at it at all. And you look at, people are going to pick sides always when this. And it's too early. We're not going to get into all this. It's only, it's week 4 coming up, right? So people will pick a side, Duke Tobin or Zach Taylor. Guess what? It's both of them. That compounds it even more, right? That's how lucky they got to get Jamar and Burrow, right? They did a good thing with Trey and, selecting T. That wasn't necessarily a no-brainer as we talked about. But those two guys getting that lucky, that does lift your franchise, right? And they haven't addressed the offensive line. That's on Duke. You look at it, they'll say, we both agree, like day one, it should have been protect your investment, Joe Burrow, right? Now you're hearing all this shit in hindsight. The Cincinnati media, they didn't say this stuff 2 years ago, right? I did. So where were you at then? But really, the championship window, if you want to call that, really opened after they surprised everyone and went to the Super Bowl. Okay, right? 2022, that draft is when it started. Let me refresh you on that. Dax Hill, first round. Cam Taylor-Britt, second round. Zach Carter, third round. Cordell Volson, fourth round. That was after having one of the worst offensive lines in the history, and he drugged their ass to the Super Bowl. Tyson Anderson has been nice special teams, and Jeffrey Gunter. Does that look like a team that knows how to do something in a championship window? No. Doesn't to me. 2023. Duke Tobin. I said it, if you recall, we said this when we were watching the draft. We didn't do a podcast. I said, now the challenge is you got no one in that building who knows how to operate at a championship level. You remember me saying that? And they don't. They didn't bring anybody in. They didn't do anything to bring someone in that knows how to operate. It's different when you're building a team. That's why there's coaches, not rest in peace. Mike Leach in college could take a Washington State, a Texas Tech, get into that 8-9. But when you're trying to get to that next plateau, that's a different animal, right? The next year, round 1, Miles Murphy, DJ Turner, Jordan Battle, Charlie Jones, Chase Brown. I like Chase. But have really any of those guys helped this team at all? We can say we'll see.
No.
None of them
It's we'll see.
Yoshi in 6th round. I mean, that's not a bad pick for 6th round, right? Robbins and Ivy. So my point in all that is they don't know what the hell they're doing to build a championship team around an elite quarterback. And more so than that, I'll give them a pass on this because they're not the only team. Teams, we talk about it year after year, you and I have, and thankfully we've got to do it on the draft podcast, and we've got to do it since then. They've overvalued draft picks. I'll say it again. They overvalue draft picks with 15 exclamation points, emphasis included, whatever else you want to throw into it. If you see a player in the 3rd round you want, you believe in him, use your 5th, 6th, and 7th to get up. Or, oh, no, we need those players. How many of those guys I named are on the team now, or even in the blank league? None of them. And they're not the only ones. You look up and down the NFL rosters, most of those guys do not make the rosters. The All-Pro teams last year were littered with 2nd, 3rd, and maybe a few 4th-round picks, right? So you move up. The undrafted guys are just as good as those later. And you got value in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Move up and get somebody. They never do it, right? Oh, we love them. And furthermore, I would take a quarterback every 2 years, as I've said, right? How would that be now if you had somebody young to develop? So you look at a guy like Murphy. Last year McKinley, right? Look at that draft pick. What's he been inactive all 3 games? 3rd round pick. That's awful. It's awful. So the other side of that argument, though, which makes my point, not theirs, is that who could you have selected? There's not a lot of guys doing much either. That's why you trade the pick. Look at Randy Moss. What are they getting for? A 4th round pick. There's guys out there. Look what the Rams did. They put their head on the guillotine to try to win a championship. They did. They got a great coach, a pretty damn good GM. 2 years later, they're back in it. Should have had Philly beat last year and last week. You can bounce back, especially if you got a Burrow. Stafford's old, right? So the whole mentality and everything they do there is like a team that's trying to get from 3 wins to 6 wins, not a team that's trying to go win a championship. You follow me?
Yep.
And that's a bad look. That's the the macro level of this. And furthermore, we're not going to do this all year. I promise you. I'm not going to do this anymore for a number of years. There's so many games left. 6 seasons, 2 double-digit wins, 2 seasons with 4 wins or less. Probably we'll see. Probably going to be 3 years in a row without playoffs. We'll see. You never know. I'm not counting them out yet. We'll talk about that later. My thoughts have not changed. McCarthy, 18 seasons, 5 under. What he did in Dallas that got him canned, they might put a statue up here. They get tired of it eventually. 3 straight 12-win seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He knows how to deal, like him or not, he knows how to deal with a big-name quarterback, right? He would do wonders with this team. Absolute wonders. If you brought in Mike McCarthy as head coach next year, they won't. And John Dorsey as GM got the bleep out of his way. They won't. I think they're going to win championships. They won't do it. They'll stick with everybody gets along. We're all buddies. Guess what? It doesn't matter. A lot of the teams that won championships didn't get along. The Cowboys didn't get along. They won 3 out of 4. If Jimmy stayed, they would have won more probably. Unfortunately, I hate him. You got Joe Brady's name's going to get hot. And I'm telling you, if they keep losing, that link is going to start, right? Mm-hmm. He's lighting it up in Buffalo. And you look at Bill O'Brien, who everybody hammers on, right? They gave him power. He was in 6 seasons. 1 losing season. 2 double-digit. Zach's resume is not even close to his. It wasn't even close to his when he got the job. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And the bottom line is, I'm confident in saying this. If they fired Zach today, they won't. Or at the end of the year, whatever you want to say, or Duke Tobin. Do you think Duke Tobin's getting a GM job in the NFL? I don't. Do you think Zach's getting a head coaching job? I doubt it. Seriously doubt it. I don't think he would. I think he'd land somewhere, maybe college, or maybe an OC, and I think Tobin would get a job, but it wouldn't be a GM. That tells you everything. So if you're operating at a championship level, you do that, right? McCarthy, who got blasted, has talked about his career is better than Tomlin's. What's everyone around here's opinion of Tomlin, right? They like him. Don't like him, but respect his coach. Enough of that. We're going to get back to reality. It's a highly emotional situation. It's hard to shake. Think about that. Last week, not this past game, the game they won we were at against Jacksonville. Bill Cunningham tweeted out. I think I told you we were on the way back. He called him during the game. He called him Zach Shula. Think about Dave Shula's teams. Yeah. The worst loss in history is with Jamar Chase, Trey Henderson, T. Higgins. I mean, the facts, them be the facts, right? And it's hard to shake. So, all right, here we go. We're going to talk about the Vikings game. We're going to talk about the rest of the year here shortly because we're not giving up on them yet. It may sound like it. We're not giving up on them yet. What's offensively, forget the turnovers. I knew that's what I predicted this whole press conference, but forget the turnovers offensively. What's next? What do you think? What are they going to do? What do they need to do? It's a tough call. You want to do the beer first before we jump into that?
Yeah, I can do the beer. That's the best part about this show.
It is today for sure.
I'm drinking Modelo.
Cerveza. Cerveza, I should say.
Cerveza. It's actually pretty good beer. I like to drink beer, so it's pretty good beer.
Your mind is expanding so much that you're trying new beers. You're finally seeing the Zach Taylor reality. What's next?
I actually am going to give that...
You're going to quit playing music next or something?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to give this... It's my rules. I come up with this segment so I can make my own rules.
It's true, you can.
So I'm going to give this a 4 1/4.
4 1/4?
4 1/4. It's actually really damn good, honestly. It's got good flavor. The aftertaste isn't bad. I'm a big aftertaste guy. I don't like that lingering. It's not bad.
Linger.
So
Cranberry said.
Here's to you.
Cerveza. I like it a lot. I'll go 4 on it. Next time you're at the Mexican restaurant, what are you going to order now?
Probably sweet tea or what.
Oh no, you want this with chicken fajita, dude. I'm telling you.
Maybe.
It's made for it. All right, go ahead. What do you think about the Bengals offense versus Skull?
So, I done talked about it a little bit. Their philosophy, I'm not going to say that the plan that they had wasn't an absolute awful plan.
Dog shit.
But there's some theories behind where when you go into a game like that, first full game without your star quarterback that you think this, right? But you also got to look at the opposite side of the ball and think, okay, who are we getting ready to play? You know, he's going to design stuff that is going to take away what I'm going to try to do. So, not that they have the game day active the day or 2 or 3 before, but 11:30 when this comes through, and they see Cam Gandy on the active roster, and he hasn't been, what does that tell you? That pretty much I would almost be like, hey guys, everything we did Monday through Thursday, you know what? This is what they're going to try to do, and we're going to stop it, and I know exactly how we're going to do it. And they did it. They went in a lot of cover 2 with a lot of linebacker and a lot of corner blitzes, and is what they done. So they basically went man-on-man on the outside, kept the guys on the back for help, and said, throw it. And guess what? They didn't. They wanted to run it. And that didn't work because all they wanted to do was run to the butts of the offensive linemen. I don't know if they enjoy that or what the deal was, but it was putrid. I actually watched it with my wife Sunday. It was the most uncomfortable damn experience I've ever had in my whole entire life. I mean, I literally wanted to break and throw everything, but I basically sat there like a good boy,
Let it all
and did nothing. Right.
Really,
So,
I meant to ask you about that.
it was probably the toughest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
Jeez.
To not just absolutely go crazy. And you know, there was a few choice words here or there, but I was trying to be the good guy and stay there and not act like I was 7 years old and throw a tantrum. But I didn't. I stuck it in there, and then when Jamar fumbled, I may have accidentally hit the remote and never watched a damn snap the rest of the game. And still haven't, and I won't. I am not watching that second half. I didn't see P. Ryan's fumble. I didn't see none of that, and I don't really care to, and never will.
Yeah, this is at the end of the half.
Ooh. Yes, I didn't see that. So I turned it off after the chase, and I was done. I was sick to my stomach, and we talk about this, during the week. We'll text, or we're coming home from our trips, to the game or whatever. I mean, we talk about this during the podcast. We got a lot of emotions and a lot of time invested through the year leading up to this,
and money, heavy money.
So
especially now that I bought the Jeep. What a curse! Buy the Jeep and have to drive around in it after. Boy!
So this is the first time that I've wore any apparel this week, which is my closet's 90% black and orange. And
I forgot. I got to tell you something. I forgot this. This is pretty funny. So I took the Jeep down. I had to drop the check off for the down payment. I had to move some money or whatever. So they're doing some other stuff when I pulled up, and the guy's like, "Hey." So my cousin sold it to me, but he's like a manager right there, sales manager, whatever. He's like, "How's it going?" He's all happy. I said, "After that game, I'm bringing it back." And I said it. And really, you gotta see his face. He believed me. He's like, I said, "I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding." So it is a little hard. I knew it would be. So I thought about that.
Trust me, I know. I have that slingshot that is all dolled up and orange and black.
Ooh, makes it rough.
And after a loss, it's hard to drive that thing, and people looking at you going, "Look at them dumbasses."
You think Joe watched it?
Oh, sure, he watched it. Yeah,
he's probably at home.
He was actually back. He was back in the locker room yesterday already.
Yeah. He's probably home, I would say.
Yeah.
I bet it hits him harder than it does us.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's sitting there watching that. That's probably why he said, "I gotta get in there and help these guys."
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, my presence, whatever. There was a meme. I don't know if you've seen it, where he's sitting in the wheelchair and it said "F it."
He's playing.
It's just like, oh my god,
it's bad.
It was not good. So pretty much whatever they done last week, I think I would just switch it up. You got your star receivers, just spread them out and try to win that way. Get the ball out. Your offensive line's not very good, so don't do this 3.5, 4 second drop back bull crap. Just 2-3 step drop, let her fly. If it ain't there, throw it away, roll out, do something, don't throw them stupid picks and for sixes. And, I mean, I'm not a smart guy. It was almost to the point where, man, as this game will get so high, I'm going to lose count.
Yeah, it was bad.
You know what I mean? It was bad. And,
It was embarrassing.
It was very embarrassing, and they've got to fix it, and they got to fix it fast. And let's hope they do it this week in Denver.
I got to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen this, and I was dumb enough to take the bet, so that's on me. At halftime, I texted you like,
Yeah, you did.
and I said this is not a joke. The Bengals were getting 30.5 points. I took it and lost. Because I was like, they got to play. I thought Minnesota would just lay back, right, and they'll get a couple junk. They couldn't even do that. The only thing I'll say, and I'm not defending them because I think it's a horrible strategy, they probably saw Carson Wentz because Taylor, that's how he's wired. He doesn't have any dog in him, to use the young people saying. He has no dog in him. You know, we watched him in the Super Bowl. No dog in him. No killer in him. You know, he doesn't have that in him. He's very conservative, very soft in everything he does, in his press conferences and everything else. So he saw Carson Wentz. Probably thought it was going to be an ugly game, which I did too, to be fair. So we're not going to take any chances. It was. We're not going to take any chances. We'll try to win it, 16-13, whatever it is. But you got all these receivers. That's not how you do it, right? And I guarantee you that thought was in his head, right? It's dumb. And you saw it like in Houston. Woo! Flashback. Tennessee Titans, not the Oilers. Our boy Callahan gave up play calling.
He did.
That's smart. You hear Zach, I almost mentioned it last week and I forgot. When he talks about the team, he says, we got to get it better so we can score more points so we can be better for the defense. There's no we there, dumbass. You're the head coach. You are the head bleeping football coach. You're in charge of the defense, the special teams, and the offense. Get that out of your head. Resign play calling duties. Move over, right? He won't do it. The other thing that's really concerning, Orlando Brown has not played well, dude.
He has not.
So that's a cut candidate next year. They can save a whole lot of money. We're not going to talk about that now. Hopefully we won't have to for a long time. But it's not good. I had some other things to get to. Who cares? But defensively, like here, I am moaning and groaning here. First play of the game from scrimmage. I'm like screaming, yes! Finally they called it. DJ Turner got held more.
It was so bad.
Did you see it too?
I seen the flag and I said, oh, great, they called
They
it.
pushed him back. That's what I was thinking. Here we go.
But they called him for illegal hands in the face.
There's two penalties on the Bengals.
Yes.
You had an illegal block on the defense. He didn't even touch him.
No, he didn't even touch him.
He's sliding under a screenplay.
Yeah.
Every rule in the world is against the defense anymore. But they're still getting pushed off the ball. That's the problem. And you notice, like, I was yelling, blitz his ass. They finally did. He threw an incompletion, Carson Wentz. He's known for, you get him off the platform. They didn't do it. When they ran the ball, they're just pushing him off. That stupid soft zone where they just turn and throw it to it. He's going to have to trust the guys or not. The only thing I'll say in defense of them, and I think it's a weak defense in a way, of Scott Peters, the offensive line coach, Al Golden, the defensive coordinator. These guys are all new to him. It's only been a camp in 3 or 4 weeks, right? So when they get more adjusted to him, are they going to do things different? I hope so. I think they will.
And the game script has to be better for him.
It has to be.
I mean, like, you can't even, I can't even grade or really see how the defense done because I don't care who you are. We're human. I said it before we on the air. I mean, granted, the NFL players, they're getting paid. But when they're getting hammered like that, they're ready to get the hell out of the building and get to week 4. I mean, let's be honest. Should it? No, but in a case, I'm almost like, you know what? Don't get hurt. Let's get out of here and get to week 4. That's kind of...
Tackling was awful.
Yeah.
And the other side of it, like, I kept yelling, like, you didn't see it, but why are you keeping Browning all these guys in the game? They're getting smoked. Why are they in the game in the late fourth quarter?
I've thought the same thing. I knew they'd done that, but yeah.
What do you don't play Rippin? I mean, next week you can't, Browning, like, it looks bad on Jake, like, for sure. I think he's leading the league in picks. 3 games.
Well, probably.
He's only played a game and a half.
He's got 5, right?
Yeah, he's leading the league in picks. So, he came out that Minnesota game, and I get it's emotional, whatever was that 2 years ago. Why'd you cut me? There's why you cut. That's why they cut you, dude. And our opinion of him, or mine at least, I'm not going to speak for you. Same thing we said at camp this year. He's a noodle-on quarterback that holds the ball too long. And I've said that all along. That's why I didn't have a whole lot of hope for this game. I picked Minnesota. That's why I don't have a whole lot of hope for the season. He played well in a couple games last year. You would think or 2 years ago, you would think he's, you remember old Jack Trudeau came in, or remember Matt Castle with the Patriots went 11-5. People forget. Oh, Brady, At that point, everybody was saying Belichick was The only reason Brady won, right? The narrative just keeps changing. He won 11 games with the guy who hadn't started a game since high school. But the ball was out quick. Look at Mac Jones the other day. San Francisco, the ball's out quick. So they're going to have to do something with him different. And on defense, they're going to have to blitz, man. You can't just sit. You just can't sit back there and play that soft zone. It makes, no team in football, in my opinion, makes backup quarterbacks look better than the Bengals. You agree? Consistently. That's not this regime.
No.
It's every regime.
It's odd because you got different coaches, different schemes, different. It's weird how that works, but agreed. And that they got one of them on the practice squad with Mike White. So I agree 100%. They've got to be more aggressive. Period.
Both sides of the ball.
And maybe even special teams. You know what I mean? For instance, the pick six, this isn't so much towards special teams, but you're in field goal range. You know what I mean? If I'm going to throw a pick, I'm going to throw it in the end zone.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to throw this stupid ass, get tipped or even try anything like that, because guess what? The beginning of the game has already went against you. So let's get points on the board. Let's try to get some momentum. And to be honest, there was 2 or 3 possessions in a row. The defense played pretty well. Jenkins got a sack. Trey got a sack. Like, they were starting to get some pressure. Like, who knows how that goes from the game script if some of them plays go, like, if that's a hold and it's 1st and 20 instead of 1st and 10 from the 50 or whatever bullcrap that was, who even knows how that goes? I mean, it's a butterfly effect, but what happens is when you're not being aggressive, and that's running the ball, that's spreading them out, like getting rid of the ball quickly. They have to start being aggressive on both sides of the ball, and then not being so aggressive as far as some of these rinky-dink bull crap when they're in field goal range.
Yep.
Because you know what? That's almost in a backwards way being aggressive, because you know what? I'm going to get points on the board because we're going to earn a little bit of momentum, get points on the board, and live for the next series, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, they're very timid. They don't play with teeth. I do think that's their coach, right? They don't play with any oomph to them, any gonads.
But that should be their coordinator. That shouldn't be the head coach.
He's too much involved.
That's
the problem.
I don't know if he is defensively.
Offensively.
Offensively, sure. But
they're not playing with any teeth. They're not playing with any edge. That's one thing I thought when they hired Golden. This team's going to be rugged, like a bunch of junkyard dogs, right?
And they still might.
I think they will, but you got to go get people. You don't let people just sit there and hit you to the left, hit you to the right, hit you to the left. It doesn't make any sense, right? You got to go after people.
Yeah.
Championship teams are aggressive. They go get it, and they're just not. They're laying back, hoping things bounce their way. That's essentially what they do. You lay back in the zone, hope somebody makes a mistake without any pressure on it, because your front four is not going to get it. They're not. Trey will, but that's it. And you got to bring it. And I thought they did it a couple times.
Did you notice that they're moving Trey around a good bit? Yeah. I think he calls a false start too, because he was lined up over center once as a linebacker, and he calls a false start. So maybe moving him around like they do Parsons and a lot of these other guys.
Hard to double team him,
where they got to count for him, because he's a beast.
Especially when Shamar gets back, because I think that's part of the design, because Shamar's going to bounce all over the place with him. But all right, here we are. Let's take a deep breath. All right, here we go. Divisional standings. Baltimore's defense is not good, dude.
No.
I said it last year. I said everybody loves bragging on that fucking team. Remember last year?
No.
Well, look at them at the end of the season. I'm like, look at them. Look at their opponents. Look at who they played at the end of the season. Granted, their schedule's been tough. But that defense, especially with the big dude out in the middle, that's taking candy from a baby from any good team, right? So they're 1-2. The Browns got lucky. The NFL as a whole, I am going to dog up here. The NFL as a whole is preseason football, and it's going into week 4. They can't block up a kick. There were 3 blocked kicks at the end.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's because they don't really practice. So the Bengals are the only one. There's no real practice. You're talking about practice. There's no real practice. There's no real preparation. I posted on YouTube. You can watch BTD Podcast Bengals on YouTube. It's 1994. This is kind of cool, by the way. It's a training camp thing with John Madden. I don't really remember it. I recorded it, but I don't remember it. He's with the Arizona Cardinals, Dallas Cowboys, and Minnesota Vikings, ironically, when more moons signed there. So Buddy's aggressive, right? But he's talking about what they're doing in camp and stuff, and they're showing clips of it. It doesn't look like what we see today.
No.
And they're doing 2 a days. 1 a day, was more aggressive than what you're seeing today, and they were doing it twice. Rucker, remember him, former Bengal?
Oh, sure.
He's running his ass off, passing out. Like, they were going at it. He's yelling and screaming. They were physical, right? So the irony of that is they featured this one guy that's going to get cut. That's where Hard Knocks got the idea, I bet.
Probably.
They were doing it before Hard Knocks. This is an NFL films, I think, related, but John Madden's doing it. But very physical, prepared. They come out. You look at today's game, it is ugly, man. Across the board, nobody's really playing well. I don't care if you're 3-0 or not. Buffalo is kind of. I think they are. But you look at our division. Pittsburgh's 2-1. I don't know how much you saw that game. Drake May's driving. He's lighting their ass up, too. Their defense is not good.
I've seen some of it.
The thing we talked about all last week with Joe, he did the same thing. I bet Brady, if he sees that, will call him even. Hold the ball, hold the ball. He's going through their ass. Tie game. Holds the ball, we watched it live. Holds the ball, holds the ball, holds the ball. Takes a sack, fumbles, they lose it. Then Pittsburgh goes down, and they're driving again, he makes a dumb play. His numbers look great, but if you watch the game, his dumb move by holding the ball, trying to be a playmaker, he throws it away right there, they probably win the game.
Right.
And he didn't.
Something as simple as that.
Yep. Jordan Love threw a pick late. They got a field goal block. The Browns upset them. Crazy. Browns defense, you got to give them credit, though. They are playing well. They are playing well. So they go to Detroit. Baltimore will play Kansas City. We'll talk about that later. One of them's going to be 1-3. It's crazy. I thought they'd beat Detroit, but Detroit just went up and down the field on them. I mean, it was easy. Candy from a baby. Ran all over their ass. Montgomery ran all over them. So the bottom line is the Bengals and the Steelers. If you said this, if you didn't know any backstory, you said the Bengals are 2-1, the Steelers are 2-1, the Ravens are 1-2 in the round. You're happy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Without, if Burrow in there, obviously changes all that. If he's in it right now,
wow.
I'm still feeling good even if they're playing bad.
Sure.
It's just hard to be. But is the season over? I say no. I think it's the overreaction. I know it looked bad. You see it throughout the history. It's like the playoffs in the NBA playoffs. Like Celtics got beat in 1984. I'm a fountain of useless information, right? It was a Boston massacre. It was everywhere. They got beat by like 50 points. Guess what happened the next game? They came out and took it to the Lakers. Bird throws his towel down. We played like a bunch of sissies. But who in that locker room is doing that? Mm-hmm. Pratt would have. I don't know who's back feeling that. We can talk Pratt about losing, but he'd be fighting somebody. We saw it. Probably a little too much. Mm-hmm. Who's the junkyard dog in that locker room who says, we're better than this? They're probably in there. Like, Ted Karras, we both like him. They signed to extension, which I disagree with. He's not playing well. I don't care how much a nice guy is.
I don't think it's a whole lot of guaranteed money in that. No. So it's probably a good thing for the Bengals.
There's nobody on the offensive line. Mims is playing okay, I think, but there's
almost to the point where you almost got to say, because this is 3 games in a row.
Can he go left?
Maybe. Maybe. Or just set his fucking...
There it goes. I've been good for several weeks. Boom, boom. Sorry, Uncle Terry. That's on him.
Set his freaking butt on the bench and then just go with Matt Lee and just say, hey, this guy's got an anchor. He's
I thought
physical.
You were talking about Orlando Brown. You're talking about, I don't disagree.
I'm talking about Karras and being like, because he's been bad. Orlando's been bad.
Fairchild's had some moments, but he's a rookie. But he's made some mistakes, too.
He has, too.
And Risner's
and actually Davis got into the game, and there's a good chance he might start.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because what's-his-face has got a calf anyway.
He didn't play that bad.
No.
He didn't play that bad. But I think long-term, not this year, long-term, you got to think, can Mims play left tackle? You know what I'm saying? That's the money position. Because Orlando's just not cutting it. Maybe they get better. I hope they do. But I think the season's not over. I don't think there's anybody really that good. Baltimore's going to be tough to beat, but I think Buffalo's clearly the best team. So if Jake plays like he did 2 years ago, it's a huge if, and they open things up, Golden gets more aggressive, I still think they can hang with most teams. The season's not over. I know people, homer. Maybe I am being a homer. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm going to call it an overreaction, but I'm not going to say that it's like completely overreaction. I don't know if that even makes sense.
Took you a while to get there.
Any freaking sense. But my point is, if it was just one game offensively, then we're like, okay, over. But they haven't played well. They didn't play well with Joe, and they haven't played that well all but one drive. And really, even when you think about that game-winning drive with Jake, if it wasn't for the pass interference call on fourth down, that wasn't good either. You know, I mean, he made some good throws.
He did.
The Gesicki throw. I mean, he made good decisions in that
he
drive.
threw 3 picks that game. Is that right?
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah. So kind of, but what the difference was, the Bengals got 2 picks. So the route didn't happen because of those interceptions. So I'm reacting from what I see with my own eyes, and the offensive line is not good. It is not good. It is not good in all facets. I see it. I see it on every play. Very seldom do I look at it and go, "Oh, that's pretty good protection." Oh, that guy. It's almost every play somebody is getting beat. Like Fairchild, Karras, Mim, or like there's always somebody. It doesn't feel like there's ever is there a clean pocket for whether it was Joe or Jake. It's not happening. So that scares the hell out of me, because if they can't get that, they can get. Chase Brown had 10 carries for 3 yards. He averaged 0.3 freaking yards a carry. It's embarrassing. And this guy's better than that. Maybe some of them he could have got a yard or two. I'm talking a freaking yard or two.
They're not pushing down the field.
It's awful. And all they're doing is they're getting pushed back enough, and he just doesn't have any time to do anything. No. And it's not good, but this team can still be a 500 football team, I feel, with Jake. Now, how that looks, there's always games that they should win, they're going to lose. There's only maybe a few games that they should lose that they may pull out and win. It's just how this NFL season goes. These bounce-back games, we see it all the time. This was an absolute shellacking. They may come out this week and just absolutely be mad. But guess what? Denver's going to be mad too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you're on the road. And you've got thin air to breathe.
Yep. Thin air.
So I don't really know, other than to say that this is our team. This is who we're rooting for. And I'm going to stick with them until it's completely over.
Agreed. Yeah, that's what we talked about before. Like, you only get 18 weeks a year, right? And it's easy just to quit watching or do whatever, get frustrated. But, come post-draft, you get May, June, you're missing football, right? Probably even before that, honestly. The draft's pretty cool, but we do miss it. We talk about it, can't wait. So you don't want to just wish it away.
No.
And the tough part is, Joe's only got so many years, right? And you're talking about his prime window here, and he's out again. Chase and T only got so many years.
The first thing I thought of when Joe got hurt, it was the first thing that popped in my mind was all the time me and you have spent like preparing this podcast and trying to build a little bit of a brand, and like we can't wait for this part, because the off season is so hard, right? Having information, having storylines, now we've got all this stuff to talk about. Well, guess what? It's a bunch of crap that we're talking about.
We got a lot to talk about, man. Yeah, you imagine how Joe feels. Golly, he's got to be so frustrated. I mean, it's going to be a gruesome rehabilitation. Everybody talks about it. Jake Glazer was pretty rough on it. Didn't think he'd play this year. I don't know. We'll see. He's pretty aggressive with that kind of stuff.
If they're in it, I swear I think he plays. If they're not even close, the organization shouldn't even.
They shouldn't allow it.
I mean, if they're a game under, I don't even think you can risk it then at week 16, 17, 18. I just don't think you risk it.
You don't know how the league is going to look, though. It's pretty mediocre right now outside of Buffalo. The South's pretty mediocre. Our division's kind of mediocre, right? So
we're like...
Yeah. So you might... they might hang around. We'll see. It's going to be tough, All right, the bump. How excited would we be in a different situation? Last year it was a shootout, Denver, Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, we watched it. It was fun. I like Bo Nix. I like Sean Payton, one of my favorite coaches. I certainly won't like him on Monday night. I watched the game versus the Chargers. I watched a good bit of the game versus Indiana Jones and the Colts. They gave them both away. That's the flip script. They should be, what are they, 1-2? They should be 3-0, honestly. Mm-hmm. So that game there, what happened, you look at the box score, you wouldn't see it. And it's on Nix. I mean, you could say it should have been, but he didn't make the throws. But their receiver Mims ran wide open for 2 long bombs. I don't know if you saw it. He missed Sutton late. Had him. Oh my gosh. He dove for it. If you can see me, he dove, and it was just a little out. It's a throw you got to make. You're better off to underthrow those than overthrow them and didn't give him a chance. He's got a pretty big arm on him. If Nix hits any of them, they walk away. They came back in that game. They look like a better team than the Chargers at L.A., honestly. So they're a talented team, but he's struggled, Nix has. So it's going to be tough. Their defense is good. That I'll go over what they're looking at right now. So on defense, they're pretty loaded, really. Not a lot of big names, but they've got multiple players with sacks. They're averaging right now 22.7, 17th in the league, 21.3, 16th. So they're a mediocre team, how they look. But you got Nix. J.K. Dobbins ran the ball really well. He's averaging over, 5 a carry. Sutton's a big deal. Mims and that Tony Franklin, who we love coming out. Your boy R.J. Harvey's made some big plays. You just never know what he's going to pull out of his hat with Peyton. I think he's still too conservative with him. But he's missing plays. They're still bickering each other. It's funny to watch. It's old school. Defensively, Jonathan Cooper, if you remember him at Ohio State, big-time recruit. Kind of underachieved, but he was just hurt all the time. He's got a couple sacks. The all-pro linebacker. Benito's got 3 sacks. You got Zach Allen. You got that Hufanga. They signed the safety. I really like him. I wanted him in Cincy. So they've got some players. They definitely have some players. You got their offensive line's not pretty solid. McGlinchey's still hanging around. Zach Allen. DJ Jones is a nice player on defense. Surtain's one of the best corners probably in the league. Be interesting to see how Riley Moss is getting picked on left and right because of Surtain, right? He gets a lot of penalties, man. Some of them, you watch around the league, some of the penalties, you're like, what the heck? The defense, I'm going to talk about when we go around the league, but the penalties on the defense right now are just ridiculous. I'm sure it won't be the case when the Bengals play them, but it's a tough matchup, even if everybody was healthy. I wanted Denver to win the game, probably because I like them more than the Chargers anyway, but more importantly, I wanted them to come in off a win and not be 1-2. This is a big game for them now, right? Huge game on Monday Night Football. A big game for them. So both teams are sitting at 2-1 versus 1-2. We don't do picks yet, but do you think? I think the Bengals hang. I think the spread was almost a touchdown.
It was 7.
Yeah.
It changed it from 7.5 to 7 today.
It's tough when you see a team get just lane-basted like they did, but I think they hang around. I think it's going to be a good game. What do you think about Monday night? Are you still excited about it, or?
Yeah. I mean, they're in it. They're 2-1. I mean, they're in first freaking place. I mean, I think the key is going to be to stopping the run, and then just making Bo beat you, which Bo might. I mean, but I would make him beat you. I would be aggressive for sure.
The pocket. You want him in the pocket.
Yeah, I would definitely be aggressive on both sides of the ball. And then I wouldn't risk it if you get in field goal range that altitude. I would be smart with the football, and it may be one of them games where points, is a big deal. So field goals may make a big deal. I mean, if you're Evan, you're at the 37, the 40, the 44. You're pushing that 60. We know he can make them.
In there.
I stop the run, and then hopefully you get some semblance of a running game, like it's not even high school because at least in high school, a lot of teams run the ball. That's what they do. Like this, in this case, I think Manchester has a better running game than the Cincinnati Bengals. So,
there's no creativity. Like, we're not gonna go down that hole again. But you watch O'Connell and Peyton will have some creative plays and some gimmick stuff, some misdirection. They'll get guys open, and they'll open up running lanes off of it. The Bengals don't do that. It's just bland, bland, bland. That's going to have to change, right? You're going to have, we saw a couple of screens that were just awful. They got to do something different. I think it's going to be a fun game. We'll give our official prediction. I'm 3-0 picking the Bengals this year. You're 2-1. The only thing worse than the Bengals offense running game line is our picks. Not good, dude. I'm embarrassed. I'm usually really good at this. It is not. I think the NFL's just kind of wacky right now. It'll level out maybe a little bit. Let's go around the league, week 3 recap, and then we'll talk about what's happening in week 4. Here's my contention. The contact downfield, they got to quit calling this bullshit all the time. Every time there's a stop on defense, everybody's looking around. Oh, number 28 breathed on the receiver at 10 yards. Let them play football, for God's sake. And the quarterbacks still aren't performing. Mm-hmm. So when you want to compare these guys to quarterbacks of the past, you can't. They got every rule in their favor, and they still are not playing well. Think about it. Very few are. They're getting everything their way, and they're not playing that way. And my biggest thing would be if I could get Goodell in a corner, and hopefully I wouldn't punch him in the face and get arrested. But there's a chance I would punch that idiot in the face. Can't stand that guy or the owners. But when a quarterback is outside of the pocket, I don't care if he's behind the line of scrimmage or past the line of scrimmage, he's got to be a running back. Period. I saw a quarterback power, Bears nice win. Quarterback sweep with Caleb Williams. He runs around, just does his little dainty slide, and everybody that's coming up stops. Could hit him early. They don't want to get fined and penalized. If he's a running back, what are they doing?
Kill me.
Did you see the hit on Stacy? I think it's his name for the Giants, that running back. They drilled him. If they were allowed to hit quarterbacks like that, which they should be, Mahomes' little late dance and his little, I'm not going to say what I want to say, with his little skirt on running out of bounds, if they hit his ass, he's a football player at that point. This whole thing looks different, right? And honestly, they don't treat Burrow that way in the pocket.
Nope.
And that's where the protection should be, in the pocket.
Yep.
Getting hit knees below. I saw it on one play. You're running outside there. That's on you, dude. You decide to leave the pocket, good luck. You decide to run downfield, good luck. Hurts probably wouldn't even be a quarterback in the league right now. You know, I said this every week, and now Drew Brees is coming out and talking about it. They win because he's protected. If he wasn't protected, they're not winning. Mm-hmm. There'd be a different quarterback in there. And I hate that piece of the game. Lamar dancing back there. If they were allowed to hit him, they did hit him the other night. He had 7 or 8 sacks. They're still not. You can see every time the defenders are. I've seen guys get hurt because they're trying not to hit the quarterback. What was the old axiom from Al Davis? Quarterback must go down. He must go down hard. What Buddy Ryan say? Hit those wimpy quarterbacks. Now you can't do that. So it almost doesn't look like football. I can't even watch Philly, Baltimore, and even Kansas City because they're just playing a different sport and they're allowed to play. I hate it. I watched it for a little bit. I was like, how are you letting them do that, right? So, frustrating. But week 3 recap, Detroit. Woo! Chicago, big win. That's the one I should have bet on. I think I talked about it and didn't. They look good. Dallas did not look good. The Giants did not look good. Jalen Daniels is hurt still. The AFC North we talked about. Buffalo didn't really play that well, but got the win. But week 4, we come into it. What's going on around the league in week 4, and we'll get to our betting segment. Baker Mayfield down the stretch there with guys out. He made some throws. I don't know if you saw the mic'd up piece of it. It was kind of cool. He threw a play to Ibuka, former Buckeye, and Ibuka caught it one-handed. He said, what did he say? You're disrespecting my throw. I don't want to see that, rookie. Don't be one-handed in that, right? So, but he made a heck of a catch at the end. You got Vikings and Steelers in Ireland. I hate that, too. Not to get on the hate rant. I hate those foreign games taking fans away. But it is the Steelers' home game of losing. So you got the Vikings and the Steelers Sunday morning. Steelers are dogs on that. I don't understand that. Do you? Mm-hmm. With Carson Wentz, I don't get earlier. That. Unfortunately, I think Pittsburgh might.
It makes you wonder what Vegas knows on that one or something. I don't know.
I think Pittsburgh might roll them, honestly.
Freaking odd.
Yeah, I think they might roll them. Hope not. Panthers, Patriots, Thursday night game, which we're going to give our Thursday night special with Seahawks and Cardinals. You got the Browns at Detroit. Saw some people picking that upset. I don't see it. Jackson Dart will make his debut against the Chargers. That's a rough way to go. Bills will probably go 4-0 against the hapless Saints. Titans and Texans, the former Houston teams, Jaguars and 49ers. Mac Jones going against one of his former teams. Indiana Jones will go against the Rams. Rams are up, 26-7, blew that game.
Yeah.
As we spoke of, the Ravens 1-2, the Chiefs 1-2 in Arrowhead. Imagine if you, beginning of the year, you'd said either Baltimore or Kansas City is going to be 1-3. They're still not done, either one of them, whoever loses. The Bears and the Raiders. You got the Packers and Cowboys. Micah Parsons comes back to Dallas on Sunday Night Football. 2 Monday night games. The Jets and Dolphins. Boo. 0-3 teams. Quite the head turner. That's where the NFL gets saved, right? Their product can be really bad, but people gamble. Fantasy football, it saves them. Jets, Dolphins. Mike McDaniels is on the chopping block, I would guess. He loses that game, he might get fired right then. So they start at 7:15. Bengals, Broncos at 8:15. That'll be Aikman and Buck. Unfortunately, not horrible, but not great. We move along. Anything you want to point out on the games?
No, not really. It's just this early season.
It's been wacky.
It's just really hard to get a grasp on where week 8, week 9, 10, we'll start probably getting a better feel. Mm-hmm. But like Scott said, it's almost like week 1, 2, 3 is just an extension of the preseason. Belichick, you say that crap all the time. But yeah, I mean, nothing really. Let's hope they can come into Monday night and get the job done.
Yep. Imagine I thought about going to that game. My cousin lives in Denver. He might still be going. Thought about getting tickets. That'd be awful to go now. And you're wasting all that money. Woo! Joe's there. If he's playing, even if they did look that bad, I'd be happy to go. But it's a tough one. It is a tough one. College football. We're going to get to our bets. Let's talk about what we did. We'll not talk about our pro record. So Thursday night football, we are both 3-0. That's the nice thing. You're 2-1 picking the Bengals. I'm 3-0. College football, you went 2-2. I went 1-3. I lost two or three games by a total of like 2 points. So I was close. If I'd bet the other games I had, especially on the NFL. So I'm 9-1. That's not horrible. It's not great. If you factor in the Thursday night, you can go with it. You're 5-13-1. We'll talk about the NFL. Survivor League, we did manage to get through that. You had a little scare.
I did.
Yeah, a little scare. Tampa Bay about blew that game. So 5-13-1. But this weekend, college football is big time. You got Penn State, Oregon, Georgia, Alabama. You got Ohio State and UW. Some major games, Tennessee and LSU.
Better than last week.
Oh, yeah, this is a big slate. I'm excited to see what the Buckeyes do in Washington. Big road test, their first one of the year. So give us your 4, Stevie Boy, and the Degenerate.
Yeah, so let's keep his streak going that Let's go.
Let's go, Stevie Boy.
Virginia at home versus Florida State. They're getting 6.5.
You like Virginia?
Plus 100. I'm taking Virginia.
I was going to take Florida State, but I didn't, so you're good.
So TCU, they're at Arizona State.
That's a big game.
Yeah, they're getting 2.5 on the road. That's plus 102.
You like TCU over that Sun Devils?
I like them
to
to
cover.
cover.
I would go Sun Devils. Let's see what happens there.
Georgia Tech, big spread, 13.5.
Love you some Georgia Tech.
At Wake Forest, 13.5. I got them. I got them covering.
Taking Ramblin' Wreck on the road. They're playing really well.
Yeah, and then I've got USC is at Illinois. Illinois is getting 6.5 at home. I am taking Illinois.
That's a tough game.
Yeah.
So 2 games that interest me. That's one of them. I couldn't believe I watched that Indiana game. I was really excited about watching that game, but I didn't watch all of it. Indiana came in and motorboated them. A friend of mine that graduated my U said, well, we just need to win by 21. I was like, what? And then he texted me later, I'm at by 35. I mean, now people are taking the IU quarterback in mock drafts number 1 overall. Come on now.
Yeah,
that's calm down. That's calm down. So I went big games this time. I looked at a lot of the games you're looking at. I got Ole Miss minus 1.5 versus LSU. LSU's defense is playing really well. The irony is their quarterback, top 10 on most of these mock drafts. I don't see that. But I think Ole Miss wins. Lane Kiffin is a weird dude, but that's going to be a slugfest. That should be an interesting game. I like the Buckeyes minus 8.5 versus UW. It's a big test. I think, in my opinion, if you play it on the college football game or if you've seen game, that scenery of that stadium, I've been there before. Not to a game. I've been outside of it. That view or whatever that is, it's just amazing how that looks. It's going to be a big atmosphere. They played them in 2003. I remember them playing UW. I think it was at Ohio State, though. I think they come in there and take care of business. That quarterback's really fun to watch for UW, but I think they'll force turnovers, run the ball. They can run the ball. And that freshman, Bo Jackson, is legit. I think they run all over him. I think Sain has a big game. They'll use their weapons. This is a tough one. I like UGA versus Bama. I think the Dogs will come in and play. Bama's starting to play a little bit better. That's a big game. That's a night game, unfortunately. Penn State hosting the Quack. The Oregon Ducks, the quarterback they have is from Ohio. Big-time recruit. Ohio State was in on him for a while. He went to UCLA, kind of fizzled in. But now he's at Oregon. I think he's set behind Gabriel a little bit. He's playing really well, but they played cream of nobody, as my good friend loves to say. They play cream of nobody. I know a guy in Alabama. He said, "Do you think this is the year that Franklin wins it?" I said, "They're a really good team, but no." I think he'll find a way to blow it. But I think my opinions on Drew Aller. I think he's the best quarterback in this class right now. I could change my mind, but nobody's talking about him. But I think he's the best quarterback from a pro standpoint. I think Penn State is going to physically manhandle them. We'll see. Good coach at Oregon. I like him. But I like Penn State giving the 3.5. That's it for the week. We're both turning around. We're going to look like we know what we talk about finally. Finally! We are going to look like it. And now we go to... I hate what Service is doing here. Sorry, I'm froze. I'm froze up a little bit. There we go. All right. Thursday night football. We're recording this on a Wednesday. Thursday night special. I'm 3-0. You're 3-0. This game isn't quite as easy as the other ones. Arizona took a tough loss. Mac Jones played really well down the stretch. Seattle was dominant. Who took them in the Survivor League? This guy. Seahawks. Short week, you never know. At Arizona. Who you got?
I got Arizona at home, short week, getting a 1.5 points.
I got Seattle giving the point, so one of us will not be undefeated. Well, I guess we could be, right?
Well, one of us will be.
Yeah. Well, if,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
One of us going to be the point spread. So I think, Seattle's playing really well. You got to give that guy credit, that coach. I mean, they lost a lot. You think about, I know they haven't played, but they went to Pittsburgh and won big.
Mm-hmm.
Lost Metcalf, switched quarterbacks. He's a young coach, but man, he's done a hell of a job.
Yes.
Like, he's done a hell of a job. He's a Harbaugh clone, which makes you not like him. But I think that's gonna be a pretty good game. The thing with Kyler, we talked about him before. Don't bet on him because I have so many times on him individually. He's fun to watch at times, but Marvin Harrison might as well be.
He's not fun to watch in the pocket.
Nah, he wouldn't be fun to watch if he's your quarterback.
No,
because Marvin Harrison's just kind of a waste. He dropped the pad, but he's just not going to hit you when you're open. He's going to run around, and then wait till you get open. Right? Mm-hmm. That's tough. But that should be a fun game. Should be a good one. So Thursday night football, we'll be watching that. So opposite end of the spectrum for a change. We'll see what happens. That's it. We've released our emotions. We've let things out. Do you feel better?
No,
me neither. All right, we're drinking Mexican beer. We're smoking cigars. I'm smoking the usual. Wrap us up, Stevie Boy, on the Kumbaya edition.
Kumbaya, my Lord. So if you're listening to that on the road, and so if you are, you're probably going like 17 mile an hour, please stay to the right. Peace out.